Welcome to today's lecture on adding and subtracting mixed numbers. I'm Drew Collip. In today's lecture, we're going to look at mixed numbers, which is a combination of a whole number with a fraction. We're going to be adding them together and subtracting them. To begin with, we'll start by adding unlike mixed fractions. Here we have two unlike mixed fractions. They both have a different denominator. What are the steps to add these together then? Step number one. We want to find the lowest common denominator for the fractional parts. We can do this using prime factorization. Let's do that now. 5 and 10. Break down the 5 into its prime numbers is just 5, and 10 is 5 times 2. In the end here, we line up and bring down numbers that are the same, and then we have 10 as our lowest common denominator. So in order to make 5 into 10, we must multiply by 2, do the same thing to the top. What we then do is we apply that. 3 times 2 is 6 over 10, plus 2, and 7 over 10. Now that we have them as like fractions, with a common factor of 10, what we do is we add the whole numbers up first. 3 plus 2 is 5. And then we put them over a common denominator of 10. Remember, the denominator does not change. And then we do the math on the numerators. We're doing 6 plus 7. 6 plus 7, I'll just do that here as an extra step. And then we combine them. 6 plus 7 is 13, equals 5 and 13 over 10. Now notice, this is an improper fraction. We have a numerator that's larger than the denominator. So what we can do is we can break that up. This is an extra step. I can break this up into 10 over 10 plus 3 10. This is equal to 13 over 10. And notice what 10 over 10 is equal to. 10 over 10 is 1 whole. So I can just add that 1 to the whole number. This gives me 6 and 3 over 10. Ask yourself, can I simplify that fraction anymore? I cannot. This is the final answer. So to review, step number 1, find the lowest common denominator for the fractional parts using prime factorization. Step number 2, convert those fractions so they're equivalent fractions with the lowest common denominator. Step 3, add the fractions, add the whole numbers, combine and simplify where required. So if you ever have an improper fraction in your final answer, please pull out any wholes and add those to the whole number. Let's try the next one. Here we have different mixed numbers. We're adding them together. Step number 1, let's find the lowest common denominator between 4, 8, and 16. 2 times 2, 2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Bring these all down. If they're common, we line them up in a column. We only bring one down. And of course, you can see that here we have 16 as our lowest common denominator. I think we've done this one in a previous lecture. Let's convert all of the fractions so they have a denominator of 16. Multiply 4 by 4, multiply the top by 4, multiply 8 by 2. We must also multiply the 7 by 2 so we don't change the value of this particular number. Here we have 1, 14 over 16, plus 4, 4 over 16, plus 5, 3 over 16. Now we have them all as equivalent fractions. The denominator is the same in all the fractions. So next step here, let's add up the whole numbers. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 5 is 10. Then we add up the numerators. Let's just do this extra step here. There's no need to actually do this step. I'm just trying to show you what we're doing. So we add up those numerators. When we combine those together, 10 is our whole number, 16 is our denominator, 14 plus 4 is 18, 18 plus 3 is 21. We get 21 over 16. 21 over 16 is an improper fraction. Let's break that up into 10 plus 16 over 16 plus 5 over 16. Right? 16 plus 5 is 21. Now let's take these two, we'll combine them together. Remember what 16 over 16 is? This is just simply equal to 1. So I add 1 to the 10, 11, and 5/16. Ask yourself, can I pull out a common factor from 5 and 16? I cannot. Therefore, 11 and 5/16 is the final answer. I'd like you to now pause the video and try this one on your own. We'll come back and we'll take it all up. If you gave it a try, the correct answer is 10 and 11 over 24. Let's see how we got there. Step number 1. We look at the denominators, and they are all different values. So we must find a common denominator. We will do that using prime factorization. Once again, breaking down all of these values into their prime numbers. You can see 24 is the lowest common denominator between 4, 6, and 8. So we'll convert them all over to 24. Multiply by 6, multiply by 4, multiply by 3. We do that now. 3 is our whole number. 3 times 6 is 18. 4 times 6 is 24. 1, 20 over 24, plus 4, 21 over 24. Now that we have common denominators in them all, we're going to add the whole numbers up and add the fractions up. Combine those together. So 3 plus 1 plus 4. 3 plus 1 is 4, plus another 4 is 8 is our whole number. Again, the denominator does not change. Remember that. When we're adding and subtracting fractions, we find a common denominator, and the denominator remains the same. Let's write this extra step here. Again, you don't need to show me this on any assessment, but that is in fact what we are doing. We have 18 plus 20, that's 38, plus 21, that's 48, 58, 59. 59 over 24. You can see our value here is an improper fraction. This is greater than 1. Let's break down that improper fraction into what it would be in terms of a mixed number. We can do this from what we learned earlier. 24 divided into 59. 24 goes into 59, goes in twice. 2 times 24 is 48. 1 and 1. So here, the mixed number that comes from this is going to be 2 and 11 over 24. So we can actually put that right here. Plus 2 over 11 over 24 if we wanted to do that. Now we combine them together. 8 plus 2 is 10. 11 over 24. Can we pull out a common factor from 11 and 24? We cannot. Therefore, this is the final answer. Let's try a word problem now. Here we have a mixture that contains 3 1/5 of a gram, 2 2/3 of a gram, 5 2/5 of a gram. What is the total mass? So here we have 1 mass, 2 mass, 3 masses. I'm asking what the total mass is. What it's asking me to do is add these numbers up. I want the total mass. Notice the units are all in grams, so there's no reason to convert. I can add these directly. So let's write out our mathematical equation. 3 1/5 of a gram plus 2 2/3 of a gram plus 5 2/5 of a gram. You can clearly see we have unlike denominators here. We must find the lowest common denominator. Hopefully you can see it's 15. If not, let's break it up. 3 is a prime number, 5 is a prime number. 3 times 5 is 15. So 15 is going to be our lowest common denominator. Multiply by 3's, multiply by 5's, and multiply by 3's. The next line, we have 3 over 15 grams. Make sure you bring those units with it. 2 and 10 over 15 grams plus 5, 6 over 15 grams. Now that we have common denominators, we can add up the whole numbers. 3 plus 2 is 5, plus another 5 is 10. And we can add up the fractions. Remember, when we're adding fractions, the denominator remains the same. We're taking 3 plus 10 plus 6. 3 plus 10 is 13, plus 6 is 19. We get 19 over 15. Notice here, 19 over 15 is an improper fraction. So let's convert that over to a mixed number. 1 and 4 over 15. Combine the 1 and the 10. 11 and 4/15. Can we take a common factor out of 4 and 15? We cannot. Make sure when you're doing this, keep your grams in there. Therefore, the total mass was 11 and 4/15 of a gram. Let's examine subtracting unlike mixed fractions. This process is actually quite a bit different. It's not as simple as just adding the whole numbers and then combining the fractions. What we have to do is our first step is we have to convert all the mixed numbers into improper fractions. An extra step there. We then have to find the lowest common denominator using prime factorization. Once we have equivalent fractions, we can apply the math and then simplify where required. So this is a bit different than adding mixed numbers. That was much easier. This is more challenging. Here we have 5 and 1/9 minus 2 and 3/11. So we're subtracting mixed numbers. So let's convert our first fraction. Let's now convert 5 and 1/9 over to an improper fraction. We take the whole number, multiply by the denominator, we add to it the numerator. Place it all over the original denominator. The negative sign, I'm going to put that here. I'm going to convert 2 and 3/11 to an improper fraction. So we have 2, the whole number, times the denominator, plus 3 over 11. We combine those together. 5 times 9 is 45 plus 1, 46 over 9. Subtract from that 2 times 11, 22 plus 3, 25 over 11. The lowest common denominator between 9 and 11 is going to be 99. Multiply this by 11. Multiply this by 9. We get 506 over 99 minus 225 over 99. We now have a common denominator, so we can place this all over the same denominator, and we look at the numerators. 506 minus 225. We'll do this extra step to make sure everyone understands what we're doing. No need to show me this on your assessments. We subtract that now, and you can see here we have an improper fraction. We must now convert back to a mixed number. Need a bit more space for this now. We must now convert this back using long division. So we'll divide 99 into 281. Here we have 2 times 198 with a remainder of 83. So here we get whole number is 2, denominator remains as 99, and remainder is 83. Ask yourself, can we simplify that down anymore? We cannot. This is now the final answer. So you can see subtracting mixed numbers is a bit more of a challenge. We must now convert them all to improper fractions. If you get confused between the two processes, I would just do this process of converting all the mixed numbers into improper fractions for adding of mixed numbers as well. I'd like you to pause the video. I'd like you to give B a try on your own to see if you get the right answer. This can be a challenge. Give it a try. Answer is 5 and 3 over 8. So let's work this out. First of all, convert all your numbers to improper fractions. So 8 times 12 plus 15 over 12 minus 1 times 8 plus 1 over 8 minus 2 times 4 plus 3 over 4. Combine these together now. 111 over 12 minus 9 over 8 minus 11 over 4. Now we have turned those mixed numbers into improper fractions. Our next step, find the lowest common denominator. We're going to do prime factorization on 4, 8, and 12. 2 times 2, 2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 2 times 3. Here we get 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, which is 4 times 6, which is 24. So 24 is the lowest common denominator between 12, 8, and 4. Times 2, times 2, times 3, times 3, times 6, times 6. We get 222 over 24 minus 27 over 24 minus 66 over 24. Now that we have them all as common denominators, we put it over the same denominator, and then we do the math on the numerators. 222 minus 27 minus 66. We'll do this extra step just to make sure everyone understands what we're doing. Combine those together. 129 over 24. Here we now have to convert this improper fraction into a mixed number. We can do some long division on that. Running out of space here, my apologies. What do we got? We must now convert 129 over 24 into a mixed number. Let's do some long division on this. We're going to take 129 and see how many times 24 goes into that. Goes in 5 times. 120, right? 10 times 24 is going to be 240. 5 is half of 10, so 120 is half of 240. 9. Whole number is 5. Denominator does not change. Remainder is 9. We have 5 and 9 over 24. Can we simplify this down further? Yes, we can. We can pull out a common factor of 3 from the top and 3 from the bottom. This leaves me with 5 and 3 over 8. Final answer. So you can see a lot of steps to get there. You had to understand how to convert a mixed number into an improper fraction. You had to know how to find a common denominator, ideally using prime factorization. We then had to understand how to combine fractions by subtracting them. And then we had to convert a mixed number back to an improper fraction. And then we had to simplify. Each one of those is a skill you must have. If you lack any of those individual skills, you cannot completely solve this problem. This is why math gets more challenging. It's because we take individual skills and we apply them all at the same time. If you have a lack of understanding in any single one of those skills, you will be at a loss. So make sure you have a strong foundation on all these skills moving forward. Let's try a word problem together. Before chemotherapy, a patient's tumor has a mass of 4 and 5 over 7 kilograms. After a week of treatment, the tumor's mass was reduced by 1 1/8 kilogram. What was the mass after 2 weeks? So I guess we have to assume that the mass is being reduced by 1 1/8 every week. Let's build that equation. 4 and 5 over 7 kilograms. The first week, it was reduced by a mass of 1 and 1 over 8 kilograms, and the second week, it was also reduced by the same mass. Double check. We have all the same units, no conversions required. We will now convert these from mixed numbers into improper fractions. 4 times 7 plus 5 over 7. Make sure you put the units in. 1 times 8 plus 1 over 8 kilograms minus 1 times 8 plus 1 over 8 kilograms. Let's do the math now. 4 times 7 is 28 plus 3, 33 over 7 kilograms. 1 times 8 is 8 plus 1, 9 over 8 kilograms, and it's the same one, minus 9 over 8 kilograms. So we've now converted all the mixed numbers into improper fractions. Now we have to find the lowest common denominator between 7 and 8. Prime factorization, 7 and 8. 7 is a prime number. 2 times 2 times 2. 7 times 2 times 2 times 2 gives me 56. Basically 7 times 8. Multiply this by 8. Multiply this by 7. Multiply this by 7. Here we get 264 over 56 kilograms minus 7 times 9, 63 over 56 kilograms minus 63 over 56 kilograms. We now have a common denominator, so we can combine these together. Here we get a common denominator of 56. 264 minus 63 minus 63. Again, an extra step there. So I'm running out of space here. We combine those together. We take 264, subtract 63, subtract another 63, 138 over 56 kilograms. This is an improper fraction. The numerator is more than the denominator. We can pull that out, convert it back. 56 into 138. That goes in 2 times. 2 times 56 is 112. The remainder is going to be 26. We can then write our whole number is 2 over 56, and our remainder is 26 kilograms. Can we simplify that? Yes, we can. Divide the top by 2, divide the bottom by 2. Here we get 2, and we have 13 over 28 kilograms. Final answer. Not quite the final answer. Therefore, the mass will be 2 and 13 over 28 kilograms after 2 weeks. Many steps to get the right answer here. Step number 1, build the equation. Step number 2, convert all those mixed numbers into improper fractions. Step number 3, find a common denominator. Step number 4, convert those denominators so they are the same. Step number 5, combine those fractions. Step number 6, convert from an improper fraction to a mixed number again. Many steps along the way. I'd like you now to pause your video and give this word problem a try. I don't think I've had you practice a word problem on your own just yet. So pause your video, give this one a try. Let's read through this problem. 3-month-old baby weighed this much. At 12 months, the baby weighed this much. So we have 2 different weights for the baby. One at 3 months and one at 12 months. How many kilograms did the baby gain? How much did the baby gain? So at 3 months, they were 6 and 3 over 4 kilograms. They gained weight up to 10 and 2/3 kilograms. So what we have to do is we have to subtract the 2 values. So we take 10 and 2/3 kilograms, what they were at 12 months, and we subtract what they were at 3 months, 6 3/4 kilograms. Again, the units are the same. Therefore, we can combine them directly without converting. Step number 1. Let's convert these from mixed numbers into improper fractions. 10 times 3 plus 2 over 3 kilograms minus 6 times 4 plus 3 over 4 kilograms. 10 times 3 is 30 plus 2 is 32. 6 times 4 is 24 plus 3 is 27. So now we have them both as improper fractions. Next up, find the lowest common denominator between 3 and 4. 3 and 4. 3 is a prime number. 4 is not a prime number. In the end, it's just going to be 12. 4 and 4. 3 and 3. Convert those over. 4 times 32 is 128 over 12 kilograms. 3 times 27, that's going to be 2181 over 12 kilograms. Now we have a common denominator of 12. We have common units. What we do now is we apply our math to the numerators. 128 minus 81 over 12 kilograms. And here we get, what's that? 128 minus 81, that's 47 over 12 kilograms. Again, you can see this is an improper fraction. We must convert it back to a mixed number. Long division. How many times does 12 go into 47? It goes in 3 times. 36, 1, and 1. So here we get 3 wholes, 12, 11 remainder. Is there a common factor that can come out of 11 and 12? There is not. Therefore, that is the final answer. Almost. Therefore, the baby gained 3 and 11 over 12 kilograms in 9 months. The time between the 3 months and the 12 months. So again, a lot of steps along the way. As you can see, these fraction questions are getting a bit more challenging now. They're going to get more challenging as we move forward. I'm now done teaching the new concepts for today. Let's try some practice problems here. There's a lot of them. There is many, many practice problems. The only way to get good at math is to do it. So that's why I'm trying to give you lots of practice problems. So pause your video, give these a try. I'll write down the answers and I'll take up the more challenging ones. Those I don't take up that you still have an issue with, please take note of that and contact me outside of class. So there's all the answers. Again, those are not the solutions. These won't give you full marks on my final test if you just write that down. You need to show me your work. So we'll take up 2 of them. Any of them I don't take up, please ask me during tutorial how to do them. Let's take up A. Start right there. For those of you who got stuck right on the first one. What do we have here now? Here we have, well, it's adding of mixed numbers. So we could just add the whole numbers and add the fractions directly. But it can be confusing. You might ask yourself, when do I do converting to improper fractions? That's for subtraction. Let's do it both ways. You can see you get the right answer. And if you like, you can just use the one method, convert everything to improper fractions to begin with. Let's start with that. So common denominator here is going to be 12, right? You can do prime factorization if you don't believe me. Let's convert this now. That's times 3, times 3, times 2, times 2, and this one remains as is. Here we have 2 and 9 over 12, plus 1 and 10 over 12, plus 4 and 7 over 12. Combine those together now that we have a common denominator here. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 4 is 7. Common denominator is 12. And we do the math on the top here. 9 plus 10 is 19, plus 7 is going to be 26. 26 over 12. And then what do we have here now? How many times does 12 go into 26? Goes in twice. So I can add 2 to the 7, gives me 9. And when I take 2 12s is 24, take that away from 26, I have 2 remaining. I must simplify. And then the final answer here is going to be 9 1/6. That's how we get that. I said I would show you the other way to do this. Let's do it the way that we would normally do our subtracting mixed numbers. So let's convert first to an improper fraction. Let's do the math now and get these as improper fractions. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11 over 4. 1 times 6 is 6, plus 5 is 11 over 6. And here we have 4 times 12 is 48, plus 7 is going to be 55 over 12. Once again, we must find the lowest common denominator, just as the other method we used. We're going to get 12, multiply those by 3, multiply those by 2, and this one is already set as 12. 33 over 12 plus 22 over 12 plus 55 over 12. You can see now we have a common denominator of 12. We then do the math with the numerators. 33 plus 22 is 55. 55 plus 55 is 110. Let's do some division here. 12, how many times does that go into 110? Goes in 9 times. 9 times 12, what's that? 8. There we go. We have 2 remainder. So here we have a whole number of 9. Denominator is 12. And our remainder is 2. Notice we can simplify that down, taking a 2 out of the top and the bottom. And here we get 9 and 1/6. So I wanted to demonstrate to here, you could do this 2 different ways. In red here, we did it the way I taught in class. It's a little quicker when you're adding up mixed numbers. You can just add the whole numbers, add the fractions, and then simplify. When we're doing subtraction, we can't do it directly that way. But if you get confused, you can just use this method for adding and subtracting fractions. And later on, when they're mixed up, you have to do this anyways. So your first step is first convert the mixed numbers into improper fractions, find a common denominator, then work that way. As always, there's multiple ways to solve these. As long as you show me all your work, full marks for you. Let's do H. H looks like a good one. Let's try that one. So here we are adding and subtracting mixed numbers. When we do that, we must follow the rule with subtraction. We must convert them all to improper fractions first. So what do we have here now? 2 times 36 plus 15 over 36 minus 3 times 9 plus 1 over 9 plus 4 times 4 plus 3 over 4. 2 times 36 is 72 plus 15, 82, 87 over 36. 3 times 9 is 27 plus 1 is 28 over 9 plus 4 times 4 is 16 plus 3 is 19 over 4. Next up, we must find the lowest common denominator. Let's do some prime factorization then. We're going to have 4, 9, and 36. Break that down into its prime numbers. What's 36? 36 is 3 times 12. 3 times 12 is going to be 4. We combine these together, bringing down common values here. We have 2 times 2 times 3 times 3, which is going to be what? 4 times 9, which is going to be 36. So 36 here is our lowest common denominator. Multiply 9 times 4 to get 36. Multiply 4 times 9 to get 36. Here we now get 87 over 36 minus 4 times 28, which is what, 32. That's going to be 112 over 36 plus 9 times 9 is 81. 171 over 36. Now we have a common denominator. Put all these values on the top, doing the math here. 87 minus 121, minus 112, sorry, plus 171. And we combine those together. What do we have here now? 87 minus 112 is minus 25 plus 171 over 36, which gives me, we add to that 171, we get 146 over 36. This is a mixed number here. Let's pull a 36 out of 146. How many times does that goes in? That goes in 4 times, I believe. 4 times 6 is 24. Carry the 2, 14. We have 2 remainder here. So here we have our whole number is 4. Common denominator is 36. The remainder is 2. You can see, hopefully, we can pull a common factor from the top and the bottom. And we get 4 and 1 over 18. Final answer. There you have it. So you can see I have the answers to many of these here. If you have problems with some of these, you can either send me an email or you can perhaps bring them up in tutorial. But make sure you write down the answer you gave as a try. Hopefully you notice that we're teaching you a skill, and in the next lesson we are building on that skill. So please follow along in the order in which we teach them. If you jump back and forth, you might not have the skills to do that exact problem. That's all for today. Until next time.